it was funny, it was engaging, it wasn't just blowing up scenes, you were invested in the characters, you wanted them to succeed, and it had all the elements to a good movie. Left you at a cliffhanger, but not like a Hollywood-style cliffhanger where you know they're just doing it to make more money. I thought it was a great movie, and I suggest seeing it. Thank you.
You think you should use the word of the day?
My Xmas celebration was going to Star Wars. Thank you.
Okay, Vince. During this Xmas time of the year, should demonstrations be allowed at the Mall of America?
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master, fellow TechMasters. Should any kind of demonstration be allowed at the Mall of America? Well, I have two schools of thought on that. First and foremost is that I don't think there should be exceptions to any sort of freedom of expression in the sense of expressing your thoughts and everything. Of course, if you say if your thoughts are to let's go around killing cops or something, that's totally freedom of speech. That's inciting violence, intentionally inciting violence. But if you are out there saying that you believe that you or certain groups of people have been wrong, that's perfectly fine. The second school of thought is that is private property and they can make whatever decisions they want. So I'm the kind of person that says, well, you should be able to go ahead and segregate whatever based on whatever you want. If you don't think that kids should be able to come to your store, you should be able to say that. If you don't think that, maybe if you're a club owner and you think that ugly people or whatever, maybe you have too many men in the establishment, you can decide who can come in your place of business. Or maybe you think, you know what, we want a nice family-friendly atmosphere. We don't want a bunch of protesters. You can keep protesters out of your private property. So those are my two schools of thought. In this case, when it comes to specifically the Mall of America, they can specifically say, please no protests during the Xmas season. Thank you, Mr. David Thomas.
Tony, I was discussing the Miss Universe contest with Mike and the fiasco at the end of it involving the Master of Ceremonies who gave the award to the wrong woman. Next year, if they offered you the position of emceeing Miss Universe, what would your wife have to say?
First off, what is my Miss Universe? That's about how much interest I have in those kind of things where they have the women. Typically, it's more about appearance than anything else. And actually, I actually got to see a piece of it because we went out to eat and they had the thing on the plastered on the big screen TV and we just happened to be seated where it was in my view. And probably the thing that I noticed is how white everybody in that contest is. Even people like Miss Uganda, who you would think as an African would be very dark-skinned, was really pretty light-skinned. And so I thought it was kind of amazing how that happened. As far as wanting to MC something like that, forget it. I wouldn't even need to ask my wife because I already have said no. I don't like pageants. I've never really liked them. Even though they were inflicted on me by my mother and sisters. I think I would just as soon skip the whole thing and find more realistic and hopefully see more realistic standards of women's beauty and in the world and something like that. Thank you.
Alex, I know you wish you would have gotten the beauty contest question. Sorry, I only have one. Should I get a hoverboard for Xmas?
I'm next?
Yes. Should I get a hoverboard for Xmas?
Is it a question? Oh, okay. Wake
up, Alex.
Yeah, it was because you just asking me, like, we'll go with why Well, this is put me in a bad position. So fellow TechMasters and no guests, I have to ramble because I have no idea what is hoverboard is. So if I don't know what it is, I do not recommend you to get it for Christmas because I don't know what it is. But if I had a choice to go to Miss Universe, go to United States, I will definitely go, and we will go with my wife, and she will be happily attending, participating in it, watching it. On that hand, like, she kind of would comment it, and I would say so that it is somewhat, what can we say, anachronism of previous 2 centuries, because it kind of considers that there is an audience who's supposed to choose the best, and approach is very interesting on appearance and stuff. So in 21st century, both sexes are working, many women are working mentally, so it's a little bit different conversation. I would recommend with chess and boxing, where you have to play chess and also like round of chess, round of boxing, and it's who is the best. Ronda Rousey would win with contest, I guess, but maybe in chess she would lose. And would it be done in the public property or private property like Mall of America? Because it's interesting, it's private property, but so much public goes there. So you would say if so much people go where it's more like public place, even if it's owned by private corporation, but people come in there to do their business, to shop and to celebrate. So yes, it's private, but when it's private, stop being a private, because it's so much important for nearby community in several states. Everybody coming there to expecting that it is more like public place. So there is this controversy between private and public. So where I'm going with it, there are no ready answers. You think you live by answers like it was in the past, and it turns it's outdated and to some extent becoming more and more offensive and kind of back pushing. So approach any tradition like Christmas with good curiosity in mind and turn it into good constructive thing. Thank you.
Okay, I'll pass on the people that I skipped because I believe you have roles today. So, okay, before I go, at this Xmas season, I must confess, I was once a judge in the Miss Hawaiian Tropic New Jersey bikini contest, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. But at any rate, I've confessed before the group, so I'm forgiven on that.
That one stated its specific purpose. The title.
Okay, that's the end of table topics.
Thank you. All right, well, that brings us to our 5-minute break, and I'm going to ask that the general evaluator, speakers, and evaluators come to the front. Or let's call it a food instead.
Well, yeah, do that, and then also.
And follow it up if you can. Great, come in on. All right. So, William and Tony. And what are you guys' topics, I guess, first?
The tale of 2 cookies.
Tale of 2 cookies, oh boy.
2 cookies has 1
And the
table.
evaluators are,
I am an evaluator.
you are? Okay.
With a
But you evaluate Tony,
Okay.
and then the other evaluations, all right, that you evaluate.
William, we're speaking on moving.
Talking of which, you know.
Okay,
You gotta do
Tony,
this.
speech length,
Sorry.
I'm gonna aim for 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5, okay.
Or I mean 5
You
to
should-
7.
5 to
Standard
7.
line.
Yep.
Standard
5
line.
to 7, okay, and what do you want me to watch for?
5 to 7.
Just general
we're gonna
stuff.
Talk about moving.
General, okay, and is it a manual speech?
Not a manual.
No.
The moving. It's on body language.
Okay, anything else I need to know?
Okay.
I was
Somebody
busy
give me the
cooking
manual.
last night in order to.
I will time
Okay,
you guys.
gotcha.
See how it
Okay.
goes.
All right,
You're 5 to 7. How long is your speech?
5 to 7.
and then what was yours?
Hope and I.
So when do you want me to screen you? When you hit 7? 5.
What was your?
It's a timer, yes.
Four to
Okay.
go.
Do you want to feel anything here or? I
No,
just
you
feel
can do
like-
that.
I can do it.
You gotta do something, Alex. I'm gonna be up there speaking.
Let's see this. Let's see. Switch the.
Very.
On the way out of meeting, grab one candy or two or three.
Yeah, I got one. So the company name is Rush.
No, civet has no Russian words.
It's like Rosh and on it. It's like Russian.
Do we have an order?
Doris.
Yeah.
Saw a picture the other day. Guys riding one of those hoverboard things.
Uh-huh.
This is an electric cart. So he's on the hoverboard using an electric
Oh,
cart.
jeez, oh, jeez, good grief.
Ultra ultimate form of lazy.
That's funny. Yeah, I wonder if those are difficult to balance on. You ever been on them?
Nope, but it looks like it'll take a few minutes to get used to.
Yeah, it'd be easy enough to fall off.
Wish they had an HDMI button.
This is delicious for us.
Oh, well, thank you, Glenn.
This other way then.
You need this recorded.
Oh, I was hoping to the HDMI would cooperate.
I guess we will present to Island at the end. Oh, I forgot to. I don't know how I'm supposed to. This
Oh, you're
over.
not.
Yeah. Well, you just push that, how about? I was gonna do, but I got stands to use. Yeah.
Watch. Composite, right?
Yeah, wow, yes. Should be VGA.
Guys, how do you do that? I didn't want to say it.
D-sub.
You're moving around. Moving around.
Yeah,
Move the popcorn over.
this is working.
Move the popcorn over. Yeah, hold it over. Move the popcorn.
He just doesn't wanna, since my, I guess there must not be enough power.
You can always try to reboot it and see.
No,
No, you don't want to do this. No, reboot it with the connector in, so
No,
it will
I-
recognize it.
it recognizes it. I've used it before with other
Yeah, yeah. Is
characters.
there an HDMI?
The HDMI doesn't seem to want to cooperate either. It's like,
It recognizes, but does not send a signal where.
okay, here's the HDMI.
Do you think, okay, yeah, it's connected to projector, yes.
Let's see what the HDMI.
Okay, yes.
Tells me signal processing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, well,
And there's nothing funny, such as a Google search.
no, it's pictures on my, on
Yeah,
my
but that's
desktop.
Super Mario Land Google search. Show me in the video. Right? Put it on the
Yeah.
And we don't have to stage. We actually could just show you.
You can, yeah, you can save.
Let's do it this way.
Okay.
He's on, let's see with the Google. If it sync up to Dropbox.
Wouldn't that take longer than just putting it on a USB drive?
It's already synced to Dropbox, I can do this.
Use your Mac capture. That was working for sure. On that. I know you used it before.
Who's going first? I've used the HDMI one.
Oh, yes, who is doing first?
Will's doing it. Will. I don't know who the general manager is.
Wait.
Yeah, clear.
So who's with first?
I thought Tony was, but.
You have one job.
Boy,
I
he's
feel like
getting his
Tuesday-
stuff going.
You like
Who's ready to go first? For speakers.
Oh, and dance a little bit until we prepare it because
William, you're going first.
Tony, do you have the slide changer?
I do.
interesting.
He doesn't, I got one.
Yes.
I saved it.
Want easier. Done it. Get done.
Oh, it does work.
The one I have works. Right? Lemon curd, alright? Not a huge lemon thing.
Tasty stuff.
But I will,
It needs to go on the bread.
I am
It's good.
a trier of goodness.
I love lemon curd.
It is lemon curd.
It's like lemon meringue.
Sugar, water, eggs. Well, you got that right so far. Butter, egg yolks, lemon juice, agar, citric acid, natural.
It's almost 8:30, so it's time to rock and roll.
Doesn't matter.
Sure.
I can.
Well, you can. Enjoy.
Are you ready then, Tony?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it cool?
Yeah.
Is it a cool plan?
Does it work for you?
Yeah.
What is this?
Tony's gonna go?
Welcome back. Our first speaker is Tony, and Tony prefers real Christmas trees and has a fond memory of good food during Christmas, and he's hoping for something that is way too expensive to hope for, which I still don't know what that is. And Tony's going to be talking about A Tale of Two Cookies. Please welcome Tony.
How many of you have those fond Christmas memories going back, probably, for some of us, a decade or two, for some of us, maybe longer. But you go back to your childhood, and there are just those things that you had every Christmas, and it seems to have become a part of it. That's part of what I'm talking about today, is in A Tale of Two Cookies. I've actually brought the cookies that I brought are cookies that come from my childhood. I grew up in my family heritage on my mother's side, and she was the baker of the family, was a lot of Norwegian. And by the way, my mother always hated the term Xmas and insisted that we call it Christmas. And we would get in trouble if we used Xmas instead. But these cookies were part of that background. The ones that are sort of shaped in a bowl are called sandbuckles. And I have sort of the kind of tins. These are kind of labor intensive, and you got these tins here that you wind up having to press the cookie dough. You make out the cookie dough, put it in the fridge overnight or at least for a good hour or two, and then you press it into the tins. The others cook on a little griddle, and I have a picture of that's not going to be real good, but I can pass it around. And this is the griddle that they come on that we use to cook them. And just go ahead and pass that. And those cookies look like it's like a little waffle press almost, and they come out about this big, and they're like a little tiny thin crepe or pancake. You then roll it up to give it the shape. The official name is called krumkaka, and it turns out the Italians make something very similar called pizzelle. But for krumkaka, it's just a nice crispy sugar cookie, and it's one of those things that we always loved as kids. I had two old Norwegian aunts that from my mother's side, and every Christmas they made a point of bringing, as we call them, scrolls. You don't have to make them on a cone. You can make them on just a dowel rod for that matter. You roll it up on a dowel rod, and then it looks more like a straight scroll. And there are a lot of ways that people make these things, but I decided to be a purist when that bout of nostalgia hit me this year, and I said, I've got to have these cookies that I haven't had for ages. My mom was the one who always made the sandbuckles, and I haven't had them since she passed away, about 3-4 years ago now? And much longer, I've not had the krumkaka because my aunts passed away. I don't believe I've had them since shortly after my father passed away in 95. So these are things that are reaching, and I decided it's time to go back and reintroduce these things. And I thought, well, what would I do? Well, it turns out we've got a store in Minneapolis called Ingebrigtsen's. Ingebrigtsen's, there's a little section where they sell cooked Swedish and Norwegian food, but they also have a lot of. This store is dedicated to things Scandinavian. And in one corner, they've got their kitchen section. And so I picked up a krumkaka oven, or the little griddle. I got the electric one. I'm going to be lazy rather than use the stovetop one, especially since we have the ceramic cooktop, and I hate ceramic cooktops. But the ceramic cooktop, so I went with the electric one because that seemed to be the better option. And we also picked up a bunch of these because I wanted to be able to make sandbuckles. Now my mom always had only the round ones, but I decided I'd go with the different shapes because I could get a bigger collection and make fewer batches. You don't want to make 35 batches because you've only got 6 tins. And pressing it in there. And of course, these are a little bit experimental this year because this is my first time ever making them. I've seen the sandbuckles made before, years ago. I don't know if I ever saw the krumkaka made. But sometimes we just need to go back and reach into our roots and say, this part of history is good. And so I decided to tell a tale of 2 cookies.
Thank you. you want to do step while I talk a little bit? See, I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, my grandpa was a chef, and they love telling the story of he used to get approached by people to go into restaurants and taste food and come out with the recipes on the other end. So he was actually approached to do something like that. And they used to do things like create rock bread, or what I call the rock bread anyways. And
The D one.
there is no doubt that homemade is much, much better than bought from the store. My parents growing up, we kind of did a little bit of that, but it was more out of necessity because of money. So making bread and stuff like that was good, but it was almost a necessity at that point. So anyways, not to linger on too much here. So next up we got William. And he shared a story with me recently of his Griswold family experience, his Griswold family Christmas experience, where he cut down his own tree and put it in the car, and the trunk was stuck in between 3 kids. And since then, however, though, he's switched to a fake tree, pre-lit. And today, William's going to be talking about body language. Please welcome William.
Thank you, Jesse, for that moving introduction. I know that I can be a little under the gun here. Let's see if I can go completely full screen without a task.
Bottom right.
Bottom right.
Things that thing right there should be full. There you go. Second one from the bottom.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Today I'm going to be talking about moving. This is something that I'm going through right now, and I'm here to tell you moving is stressful. Do not do it over a major holiday. But hopefully I can share some tips, some things that I've learned, still learning about moving. And Mr. Slide Mover is not cooperating with me. It's not plugged in.
Is it turned on in the presentation mode?
You could also just push the right button.
I didn't have it plugged in. Wait for it.
Turn it on.
Turned
Easy
on.
zeros like a timer. There you go.
We'll test it. Yep. Okay. These are the 3 things I want to talk about. Learn from my mistakes. Taping, box etiquette, and lastly, documentation. All the software people in the room. The first thing is taping. Get a tape gun. Do not try to use just your scissors and peel that tape off the roll. Get a tape gun. If you haven't used one of these, they're a scary looking contraption, but you will save so much time. You're going to be using that tape gun constantly. It's worth the investment. A good tape gun is about $20. If you cannot find a good tape gun or you don't want to spend the $20, buy this thing. It's a tape gun wannabe, but it will still save you time. Do not buy just the regular roll of tape. And you'll notice that this is a roll of Scotch tape, which is a brand name. You're going to go into the store and you're going to see the Scotch brand name tape. It's going to be about $6, $7. Right next to it, there's going to be a pack of 3, maybe 6, for about half the price of Scotch. And you're going to go, why should I pay $6 for one roll when I can pay $6 and get 9 rolls or 6 rolls? And I'm here to tell you, don't do it. Cheap tape will cost you 3 ways. This is what I've experienced. 1, the tape is so thin that when you go to find that edge, you can't pick it up with your fingernail. It's impossible. Once you do pick up that edge and you try to pull back the whole roll of tape, it's going to come off in a splinter. And it will keep going around and around and around and around and around, and you'll never get a full sheet of tape. I've actually taken these cheap ones, and I've taken a razor blade, and I've sacrificed 10 layers of tape just so I could dig one out. Is that effective? No. Secondly, the thinner stuff is going to break. You put the thinner, cheap stuff in a tape gun and start taping a box that maybe your wife overpacked a little bit, it's going to break. It's going to go right back onto the roll, and then you're going to be back with it. That brings me to box etiquette. So everyone thinks that moving is just you get boxes, right? There's more to it than that. this. How many people have seen this? You're helping someone pack and there isn't enough tape. So the guy or the gal does one of these quick box folds and goes, there, you're done. Don't do this. This box will not stack. And if you do stack it, that weight is going to push down in the middle, little by little by little, and sooner or later it's going to collapse inside. Don't do the box. Keep your boxes flat. Collapse all your boxes, put them out of the way. We've opened up a number of boxes such as this, and the flaps always hang out to the side. So now your 1 foot square box is actually 2 foot square. And if you put 2 or 3 of these in a room that you're working in, you'll just induce more stress because you've used up all the space that you need to move around, pick things up. Keep your boxes flat. Don't spread them out. Work on one box at a time. Produce boxes. I used to work at a grocery store, and we used to see people come in all the time, Saturday morning. I'm moving, I need boxes. And you know where the people at the front would send them? To produce. Because there's always boxes in produce. But the boxes in produce you don't want. You don't want them because they've been holding vegetables. And what do we do with vegetables at the store? What are vegetables mainly comprised of?
Water.
Water. What happens when you put a cardboard box out for the garbage and it gets rained on? It loses all of its structural integrity. It has all the structural integrity of a Swiss cake roll. So don't use produce boxes because they've already got all that humidity and moisture in them, and you'll pack them up and you'll stack them, and overnight you'll come back and they'll have fallen down, they'll have collapsed. It's not worth the trouble. Lastly, documentation. These are Sharpies. I didn't know it, but now they have a Sharpie that's retractable, like an ink pen. So you write your thing, you turn it off. First time we moved, I had a Sharpie and I left the cover off thinking this will be faster, I'll save some time. A Sharpie will dry out in the time it takes you to go make lunch and come back. Don't get the one on top either, the razor point one, because that will push right into a box just like a knife. Get the fat one there in the middle or get the retractable. And buy 2. You're going to lose your Sharpie. I guarantee you're going to lose your Sharpie. I wish they would make Sharpies with the biker chain on them or something, so that I know where that thing is. Label the sides, not the top. The first time we moved, I was taping boxes with my wife, and you're on top of the box and you're taping, and it just seems natural to reach in your back pocket. You've got a nice flat surface because you didn't do the box fold, and write down what's in the box. Makes sense. So I did this for all of our boxes. Moving day comes, our movers come in, they pick up all the boxes, they put them in the truck. We get to our new house, movers come out of the truck, and they're moving fast with their 2-wheelers, and they've got maybe 6 boxes piled up. And the guy looks at you and says, where do you want these? And I look at the box, and I realize that all my writing is on the top of the box, which is covered. And what do I say? I don't know, garage. So we lived with boxes in our garage for months because we didn't know where those boxes were supposed to go. Don't write on the top, write on the side, at least 2. So to recap, moving is stressful. Take some of these lessons that I've learned and reduce some of that stress for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Man, I think we've all lived through some of those pains, right? So at this time, I'm going to introduce our general evaluator, Clea. Her favorite Christmas memory is of getting together with close friends, enjoying a traditional Italian 7-course fish dish feast. Try to say that a lot.
Say that again.
7-course fish dish feast, which I've never heard of, by the way, which included a blend of Italians, right, and Ukrainians. Interesting. Fueled by fun and vodka, and very loud, what it sounded like. So let me introduce Clea.
Thank you. I think we need to have some evaluations. But first,
Voting. So I give you a hint without saying.
Vibs, our fearless leader. Could everyone please bow their heads and vote? So the first speech was by Tony. If you think Tony was the best speaker, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. And if you think William was the best speaker, please raise your hand. Thank you. You can raise your hands. So to evaluate Tony, that would be Loris. Loris, can you please give your evaluation?
Okay, Tony, this is going to be a brief evaluation. Because I thought you did a solid job of telling a tale of Xmas, even though your mother does not like the word. I consider you to be the most improved speaker in the club when you consider where you started to where you are today. I think you've come a long, long ways. So I just have a couple of minor points to make. When you were describing your mother, you said that she was a lot of Norwegian, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it just sounds like poor language. She was a lot of Norwegian. Second comment that I had was that if you're getting up and you're telling us a tale of two cookies, when you have a whole box of cookies sitting back here, you should have had one of each up in front to show us. I think it would have gone a lot better if you had the cookies up there to show us. I did notice that during your speech, everyone was paying attention, which is a sign of a good speech. No one was doing other things because people like to hear homey stories of Christmas, and I thought you did a solid job. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. And now Alex, please evaluate William.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So, William was a good speech, and I think you are experienced Toastmaster, TechMaster. So overall, it is visible and kind of feelable that you can come and give a speech, and audience will be listening, engaged, entertaining. So you are on that level. So I guess all what I can say is what can you bring you to the next level. The next level, I would think, in body speaks would be pausing. Make a pause to highlight something important. So you were very engaging, energetic, loud enough, and speech was very informative. So everybody get it. Next level, maybe at that moment when you bring some drama, how to pause and let audience imagine something. So it's how to go to better and better. Well, it's not really necessary, but how to improve it with pause and more entertainment and drama. So I guess if you have 5 minutes speech, informational is good. For half an hour, maybe some entertainment would be more helpful. And this is pretty much it. I put it, most of it in excellent, so I guess it's kind of how to go to what is next to perfect the mastership. Thank you.
Thank you, evaluators. Could everyone please bow their heads as we vote for the best evaluator? So all who thought Loris was the best evaluator, please raise your hand. Okay. And who thought Alex was the best evaluator, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. And raise your heads. I now call on the grammarian for a report and word picture award.
Thank you. Well, yeah, and for the Toastmasters, I'll try to keep this brief. The word of the day was Xmas, and I was impressed by how almost everyone used the word Xmas, although one person went above and beyond and used it over 8 times. That was Loris. And I really liked the way that he worked the word Xmas into every one of his table topic questions, plus he used it twice in his evaluation. So I thought that was well done. I didn't hear a lot of ahs and ums, and I was glad to see the use of word pictures, a lot of word pictures, things like a cliffhanger, like the kind of person
like ugly people. Like Miss Uganda. There was a lot of opportunity for word pictures in our two speeches too. I was looking for like or as, and I didn't hear anything that really was there. I was expecting Tony to use this was like my childhood when I remember blah, 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 blah. There was so many opportunities for it, but I was disappointed not to hear more of it. So I'm gonna have to give this like to the kind of person who used the phrase ugly people, and I'm gonna give this to Vince.
Wonderful. And as the timer, I would say all of us stayed within the limit. Alex, your table topics went a little long, but I think you were trying to tie it, all the table topics into one, so keep that in mind. It was long, but good. Both speeches were right under 7 minutes. So as you're making a speech, I think the goal was between 4, 5, 7, and you went a little above, so just keep that in mind, that you can always talk a little longer. Both evaluations were right, appropriate times. So, Mr. Table Topics Master, can you please give the award for the best table topics?
Sure. Okay, the wise old owl goes to Tony. And Tony, let's see, what was it again that I know you did a good job. Oh, you were going to be the, I offered you the job at MC for the Miss Universe and said no. Yeah.
Well, that's why you got.
And the most important part, or I would say one of the most important parts of the meeting, are best speech. So drum roll, please. It was a very, very, very close speech. Tiebreaker. And evaluations are key. Again, this was also very close. And that award goes to you, Laura. I would like to welcome, I get to give a little evaluation. I thought our meeting was good. It was just the core group, which is always nice to see everyone. Merry Xmas, happy holidays, and I think we'll have a great 2016. And welcome back our Table Topics Master Toastmaster to finish the meeting.
All right, I have a couple of awards as well. The Spark Plug Award. I
He's a
think.
grammarian today.
Oh, this is not mine to give out.
No, didn't he say every
Oh.
other word?
I liked your speech. I was really amazed actually that you didn't ding him on the technology and stuff like that. But other than that, I thought you did a really good job. Exciting and proud. Fuzzy Mouse Award, I think, goes to a technical type speech, which I don't believe that we had any, so I'm not going to be giving that out. And I believe it's just closing comments, right? All right. Well, just the one thing I'd like to say is, the people that are here, it's a commitment to not just this club, but to bettering yourselves. And as Alex said at one point in time, it's a muscle, and we got to just keep exercising it and stuff like that. So, very, very well said, and I agree, and I think that we're doing that. Thank you. Welcome back to our president.
Let's give a hand, Jesse. All right, any new business before we go? We do have one piece of business. I'd like to see if Amy Remper is here, and maybe we can present them with our canned goods and our.
I love your speech.
Yeah, I thought you did a fabulous job.
Just moved it, did every single thing. Hi.
Speech by me.
Well, we couldn't really do any of this without a hosting space. We are not a corporate club. We don't have a sponsor of that kind. So we always have to reach out and say, is there anybody nice enough and friendly enough to help the community and help people better themselves? And Island has done that. And as a token of our gratitude, we would like to donate. We have chosen $50 to your charity of choice, which is Prop. They also have some goods over here that we'll be putting into your donation.
Well, thank you so much.
So thank you very much for everything you do. We really can't do without you guys. We could probably have to like meet one of our
It's our pleasure, so, thank you.
Thank Let's see. Are there any announcements before we take off? Next week's so special. We don't have one yet. Alex.
Can you bring the schedule on Google document?
Sure.
It didn't look like there was one schedule.
We did, as of some point yesterday, we didn't have one for next year at all, but I imagine Alex is trying to tell us that we have something now.
Next week, or
Definitely have next week. Oh, there you go, you have it already.
that's 2019.
Let's go to that.
All the way to.
Yeah, this is all on the website, yes, okay.
There you go. So yeah, it
Yes,
does have a couple.
I just wanted to everybody look and when you're not available because Mohammed and Chris were not available. If anybody is not available, it's kind of, I'm trying to start next year. So it is under schedule 2016, but I will move it to regular schedule soon.
Thank you very much, VP of Education, Alex.
Yeah, Morris saying something.
The Toastmaster for next week is Loris. So, well, not next week.
No.
2 weeks from now is Loris, unless it's next week. Okay, never mind.
So there's
Yeah, the important thing is to state that there's no meeting. There is no meeting next week. And is it indicated out on the internet that there is no meeting?
Correct. Yes, I believe I deleted the meetup, and I'll make sure to reiterate that I've emailed this out before that. Yeah, and I asked everybody or people are going to make it today and next week, and a few people said no today, but a lot of people said no next week. So I made the judgment call that it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have a meeting with like me and Mike or something. So I decided unless you want to, just
No, let's,
So Mike and I, I'll be
let's keep it clear.
Just kidding around. All right. So no meeting next week, and we will re-adjourn 2 weeks from now. And in the meantime, in the next 9 days, I'll make sure to get Moments of Truth and the club success plan done. So again, if you have anything to add, please make sure you do so. And I would like to ask the invocation timer for a closing thought, Tony. It's not Tony, but I just want to let him know that I changed the slide. Leo, you say closing invocation, it doesn't make any sense.
I will reiterate Merry Xmas to everyone. Happy New Year. And remember, this is about family and friends, not about material things. Thank you.
With that, I will adjourn the meeting.
Boy.
I want everybody in the building to be there.
Custom.
Yeah.